Hey YouTube, Dave again. Um, Tonight I'm going to do a video response to um, the Duke of Wells, who is looking for his entrance into his 100 subscribers giveaway, and he's already over 100, but he's decided to extend it to the end of May just to get a few more video responses, and I think that's awesome. He's offering some cool tobaccos, and you know, it's about the generosity, right? It's all about the generosity, and his giveaway is based on your other interests. And dude, you're asking somebody who's got so many other interests. It's almost funny. I'm a tinkerer, a maker, an experimenter, an explorer, whatever you want to call it. I find a subject that catches my attention and I will explore it inside and out, up and down. I will figure out how to do it and I'll do it. Recently I've taken up leather work, and that it's got no end of fascination to me. I've made quite a number of products, and I've actually been fortunate enough to sell a few. Excuse me, I make a beer growler carrier that I'm actually giving away in my 100 subscriber giveaway. So you know, go ahead and I'll put the link down in the bucket, and you can check that one out. I'm giving away a lot of neat things. I do a lot of woodworking. I really enjoy making pipes now. Here's an example of my handicraft. It's I call it the cherry bomb. This one, it pissed me off a little because there's a little groove in the top of the bamboo stem that is, it didn't at first, but now it's causing a little air leak. So I'm going to make a new stem for that one, and yeah, it's just fun. Love making these stuff. The leather work started out simple, and it got more complex and more complex. And one of the early complex pieces I made was a wet formed, they call them a possibles bag. These are the belt loops. It opens up. You've got a nice little belt bag. I made a couple of them. I had one in my truck, and I had it filled with kind of like, you know, kind of emergency supplies like fire starters, a little bit of rope, a knife, small bush saw. Anyways, I always left that right in the truck, and I forgot to lock the truck in my yard one night, and somebody stole it. So I hope they enjoy it because it's handmade, and you know. Anyways, so this was one of my earlier complex projects, and then I got ambitious, and I've also got an, I don't know why, I have a bit of an interest in this whole steampunk movement, and of course steampunk is all about, you know, the what would happen if technology in the Victorian era, the early industrial revolution era, what if that was the epitome of technology and everything was based on steam, right? And I made this. You see it? This is a leather top hat, and again I made the entire thing all hand stitched. The goggles, you can see how I made the goggles if you go to my Instructables page, and I'm Frigger, F-R-I-G-E-R, and I have a full tutorial on how I made these goggles, and that was kind of fun. I even made a hat stretcher for the hat. So anyways, I made that because, you know, leather work, obviously it's one of the oldest professions, like, known to man. It really is. Ancient man was making things from hides probably before he was making things from woven material, I'm sure. Now I make a few other things. I kind of did a short video on my pipe bag, a little pipe roll. And I've since made another one because, you know, as I do these things, it's like, okay, well, I see room for improvement, so I'm going to improve it a little. So I made another one. And this one is a different kind of leather. It's an oil tan stone something, I don't know. It's a nice leather, really nice leather, nice and supple, very rugged. So I'm thinking maybe something like this might get put in a giveaway, who knows. But so, you know, other interests like say woodworking, leatherworking, fishing. Now myself, I've been fishing avidly, let's see, I'm 50 fucking 2, and I've been fishing since my earliest memories, my father taking all 6 kids out fishing for perch and sunfish. But I really got serious when I was about 13. And that's when Dad introduced me to fly fishing, myself and my next oldest brother, and fly tying, and oh, it started. And it was a slippery slope from there. I've worked in the industry, fly fishing as a fly tying, selling tackle and whatnot in fly shops, own my own sporting goods shop, building fly rods, building landing nets, and Defiant Piper is going to get one of my custom-made landing nets. It should be arriving in his mailbox in a week or so. It's an all-consuming passion if you let it. Now I've got 2 young kids, so fishing has kind of had to take a little sideline to hobbies that are a little closer to home so I can still deal with them, but they're getting older and they're doing good fishing on their own, so you know, I'm going to bring them along into the dark side of fly fishing. And you wanted a story, so I'll tell you a little story. I live in New Brunswick in Canada, right on the east coast, borders with Maine. In fact, I'm right on the border of Calais, Maine, so you know, traveling into the US is a normal occurrence for us. But anyways, in New Brunswick we have a population of black bears that are considered a healthy population. And I have a thing about bears. Don't care for them much. So one day, it was early spring, my brother and I were out fishing a small stream about 20 miles back in the brush, and you know, you could drive to it, but then you had to do some walking along the stream to get into the good trouty water. And it was a small stream. It was maybe 40, 50 feet wide at its widest. And we would do this thing we called hopscotching. One of us would sit back, let the other one go ahead, fish a stretch of water, they would stop, the next person would come up, fish the stretch they just fished, and then go on ahead and do the next stretch. So you'd hopscotch. So everyone got a chance to fish some fresh water and, you know, pick up stragglers the other guy left. So it was my turn to sit and wait. So it's a beautiful sunny day, it's early spring as I said, and I got my lunch all packed and I have my waders on and all my gear, and I thought, here's a lovely little pool. I'm going to let my brother fish it. I won't touch it, so I'm going to park my butt right here, put my feet in the water with the waders on. I took the vest off, pulled the wader straps down, get a little air. It was warm. Set the rod down, got out my lunch. It was a lovely lunch. It was like a pastrami on rye with good mustard and lots of good stinky cheese on it. Anyways, I'm sitting there enjoying these sandwiches and watching the little minnows swimming around in the brook, and I hear a little crack behind me, and I'm on a pond sort of, but it's like a beaver, we'd call it a beaver swale or a meadow. So there was about, I don't know, 20 feet between the edge of the stream and the wood line, and it's a little glade, and I heard a little crack, and I thought, hey, must be a squirrel or something. So I turned around and looked, and there was a little spruce tree about the size of a refrigerator, and out from behind that spruce tree stepped the biggest black bear I've ever seen. Now the area that I'm fishing is also used for farming blueberries. We have a huge blueberry industry, and the bears like blueberries. Well, early spring, this big old, I'm pretty sure it was a boar, a big bear, and he'd just come out of hibernation. He was hungry. He stepped out from behind that tree as if he was coming out of a second dimension. You know, he just materialized, and he had the old big white muzzle on him. He was an old brute, and I would put him at about 450 to 500 pounds. Big animal. And he's coming right for me, and he's not concerned. And I've got one choice to make. What do? So anybody who'll tell you if a bear's coming at you, play dead, they've never had a bear come at them. Never. I grabbed my rod. I don't know why. I grabbed my rod, stood up, grabbed my waist because the wader straps were off my shoulders, and I figure I must have had my Jesus boots on because I took across that stream and I know I didn't hit bottom. I ran across the top of it, yelling at my brother, who was within earshot, that there was a bear coming. I left the lunch, I left everything else there. For some reason I took my rod, maybe I was going to poke him in the eye with it or something, I don't freaking know. Anyways, I come tearing around the bend of the river and I told him there's a bear. And we got a little distance from us and we could hear it. And we started lobbing rocks over the bend in the river trying to scare it off. And came around, finally we worked up the courage to go back around. I mean, a black bear is nasty. I mean, what's the joke they say? How do you know what kind of bear you have chasing after you? Well, if you run up a tree and hide, and the bear comes after you, it's a black bear. If the bear knocks the tree down and then eats you, it's a grizzly. Well, we don't have grizzlies, but we got black bears the size that can knock the tree down. So anyways, we made our way back around and found my gear. My vest was still laying there. My lunch was not laying there. Fucker ate my sandwiches. He could smell them. And my brother said, you know, I kept hearing something the whole time. I could hear something in the woods around us. And, you know, we figured that bear had been stalking us. And so, my favorite pastime, fishing, since then, and that's been about 15 years since that's happened, and in that intervening 15 years, I've had bears approach me about 4 times. And not a fan. It doesn't freak me out the way that one did, because, you know, they're more curious and they will run when they catch wind of you. This cat, he knew I was there. He wasn't interested in running. He was big enough. He was coming for me. But anyways, that's my story about my other passion, fly fishing, and I hope you have lots of people do video responses, and once again, stay hydrated, my friends. See ya.